Today, I would like to explain about file input and output and some other thing related to the Java programming language. So I will explain about the file input, file output, and then how we deal with multiple variables, input and output. As I mentioned to you, the file input and output will be useful if you are going to create report in your system or in your program for the final project. So let's see. Okay, there's one question. Is it online test? Yes, it is online. Okay, so what I explained just now is online. So it is in the Guru. So you need to attend in the WebEx. So I can check whether you attend the makeup exam or not. It's up to you. As I mentioned, you don't need to attend it. But if you want to upgrade your score, you can just join it. Okay. Okay, let me continue. So the first, I would like to discuss about file output. This is using print stream. You already saw the print stream on the program that I taught you last time. So the concept of a stream. What is a stream? In the stream, we can use files. You can store Java classes. You can store Java programs. And also you can store pictures. You can store music. You can store videos. So all of them, we can use files to store it in the program with input and output. What we learned previously, it was related with the text file. So we just use a very simple text. A stream is a flow of input or output data. So it can be characters, it can be numbers, it can be bytes, and etc. When we learn about the scanner, if you still remember, okay, if you learn about the scanner, it is one of the class that we can use to indicate the stream. So streams are implemented as objects of special stream classes. If we use the scanner, it means we want to know what is the input. You already use the keyboard. Let's say if I input 5, you press enter, then you will get 5 and you put it into your variable. How if you have another input, let's say CD? Yes, you can use also the input from CD and you can put it into your program. What about the output? The output can be many things. You can use your monitor to see the result, or you can save your file into your hard disk. Let's say you have your report.txt. You want to save it into your hard drive. Then it will be a file. But if you want to show it into the monitor, then you want to use like system.out, system.out.print. Then you want to show it into the monitor. So there can be a lot of input, there can be a lot of output. So why do we use files for the I and O? Why do you use files for input and output? So the keyboard input and screen output deal with the temporary data. When you show this one, the keyboard input in the Eclipse, it is temporary. After you stop your program, then your data will be deleted. The same with the screen output. When you show something on your screen, when you stop your program, then all will be removed. So when the data ends, when the program ends, the data is gone. Data in a file remains after the program ends. So if you use file, then you can keep the data. You can remain the data after the program ends. It can be used for next time when you want to run the program again, or it can be used by another program. There are several types of files. The first file is the text file. So the text file is something that you already learned. And we have another kind of files. We call it binary files. All data in the files stored as binary digits. Binary digits means 0 or 1. Okay, binary. Long series of 0 and 1. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, and so on. It means we call it this is the binary digits. Files treated as a sequence of characters, we call it text files. So, for example, Java program source code. Java program source code is a text file because we can see the text. Okay? We can see a sequence of characters. It can be viewed and it can be edited with the text editor. So if you go, for example, if you check on your Java program, this is a character. And you can open it in this Java environment, or you can open it into the, for example, I have Notepad or you have Memojan. You can open it here. So let's say I want to find my project. This is my first project, and this is the source. Let's say this is the file. I have report order. I want to open the order.java into the memo pad. Then you can see that it is in string, and you can see all of them in the memo chunk in the notepad. So this is the text file. Other files are called binary files. Let's say you have movie, music. So those two are binary files. And in order to open these binary files, access requires specialized program. So if you want to open movie, of course, you need to have the particular movie program. If you want to open music, you need to have a particular music program. Creating a text file. When you create a new file, file is empty initially. It may now be written with method printline. So you can use printline method and then you can print into the file. So like what we did in the previous section, we use print. Okay. What we are going to print is we want to print new data into the file. So this print is the same with the print command if we want to show the result into the monitor. But we use toFile. toFile is the print stream or the object that we are going to use to write into the file. The data goes initially to memory buffer. And when buffer full, it goes to the file. closing file empties buffer and disconnects from the stream. So there are some cases when you want to print into the file, it will go to the memory buffer first. And if you close your file, then the buffer memory will be empty. So for example, like this one. Let me copy and paste. So I would like to make a save report the Java. I will use the section. Okay, I will make another section. I will make a new package. I will make a section 10. And then I will make a new Java class. And the Java class name is save report. And I have one main function. So I have save report. I need one main function. Finish. Now, let me just copy and paste this part. So inside of the main function, I have this file. If you can see, there are two errors, maybe three. So there are three import in this case. See? If you take a look on this part, you can move your mouse and you can get the solution. The first solution is to import the print stream. And then the second is to import the file. And next is another error. So there are two. Here we have two solutions: add throws declaration, or we surround with try catch. The last time we also learned what is the try catch in the form. Let's figure out later. I will also explain about this try catch, but not this time. Maybe in the next page we will learn about the try catch. So let me use the throw declaration. The throw declaration means if I cannot find the file, so this one, file not found exception. So if I cannot find this file, I will give the error message of this error. If this is error, then I will give the error message file not found exception. And in this file not found exception, we can like run again your program without closing the program, without ending the program. So we have three, which is file not found exception, and then print stream. You can try. Let's say this one. I will save. Okay, I will run. So if you run this, it seems nothing happened. Why? There is nothing here. Yeah, you didn't print anything into your console. So you just print all the things into the file. So we have two files, and I'm going to print every content into this file, test1.txt. and then I'm going to print 1. Okay. I'm going to print text slash n. What is it? Text slash n. If you go back to the first lecture, we know that text slash n means we want to move to the next line. So if the first is print, and then I want to print go to the next line. I will print 2, and then I will go to the next line because I use print line. And then I will print 3. The question is, where is this file? I cannot see the file here. So whenever you create a file, it will not show immediately. It will not show directly. So you can refresh. Okay, you can refresh on your project. You can refresh on your project and you can see there is a new file here. Test1.txt. So you can check. If you double click, then you will see 1, 2, and 3. So this is based on this small statement. The class provides a way to represent file names in a general way. So a file object represents the name of the file. So let's use new file test.txt. It means I'm going to make a file and the name is test.txt. The object new file test.txt is not simply a string. It is an object. And it is an object that knows it is supposed to name a file. That's why if we have the test.txt, your file name will be test.txt. The class print stream is one of the alternatives to save the stream. The stream in this case is a collection of data in a particular type. So whenever you have your data, you need to check what is the data type, whether it is integer or whether it is a character and so on. Instead of print stream, we can also use other stream class such as object stream. Okay, so there is an alternative, not only print stream, but we can also use object stream. So the method is similar to what we learned before, system.out. If we use print, it means we want to print the text in the same line. If we use print the text in the same line. If you use print line, it is to print the text in the same line and go to the next line. So the idea is similar with what you do on the console. If you print, you just print in the same line, print line, you print and then go to the next line, and it use this print stream. Some other methods in this class are related like this one. You can read. Yeah, so in the class file, you can read. It means you want to test whether the program can read the file. So sometimes you have file like txt, or you can have file like doc, or nowadays you have this file docx. If you use Hangul, your file name is HWP. If you use Excel, then your file is XLS or sometimes XLSX. If we want to check whether the program can read or not, so you can try it can read. If it is readable, then it returns true because it is Boolean or Boolean is true or false. You can write. So some of the file are not accessible for writing. So I want to check whether it is available to write or not. Or I want to delete. Or I want to know whether the file exists or not. Or I want to get the file name. I want to get the path going to that file. And I want to find what is the length. So how big is the length of the character in that file. And you need to be very careful because in Java, whenever you create a file, there should be path names. Path names. Files open in our example assume to be in the same folder as we have the program. So as the program runs, we can put that file. It is possible to specify the path names. The path, it means where you want to locate your file. So if I have this file, so it is located in the C users and so on. So it shows the path. We call this is the full path. We have the full path. So it's from C and it's from users and from IME, and then we have another folder Eclipse Workspace 2022 and so on. This is the meaning by full name. What about the relative name? So in the relative name, if I know that now I'm in the Java, so it is in the project, I'm in the first project. So I can just use very simple like \\, and then what is the name of the project? Maybe first project. So I do need to enter all the beginning because I just want to access into this first project. That's also possible with the relative path. So beware of differences of path name styles in different operating systems. So in Windows, we can use this one, but in other operating system, I'm not sure. Okay, so you need to check how you will do with this path names. Okay, that's about the print stream and the path. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain how if we are using the file input. So I already mentioned about output, how we can create an output file, and how if we want to read it. File input means something that might go to the program. So we need to define a method to open a stream. When we have a file, we consider that as a stream. Method will have a string parameter. The string parameter will be the file name. And the method will return the stream object. So it depends how you can define the stream object. But usually it has a line. If it is in the text file, it will be in the form of lines. And whenever you open the stream, it will throw exceptions. So the throw exceptions if your file cannot be found. So if file not found, then it should go to exception. And if there are some other input output problem arises. Yeah, I'm not sure what is the problem, but it depends on the file. Should be invoked inside a try block. Should be invoked inside the try block and have appropriate catch block. Okay, so I will discuss it later. I have one file. This one is about reading a report. So you already know from our big example. Now I will use this example, just a very small example, to read the report. Let me make a new Java class, read report. I will make a new Java class, read report, and then I will make a new main method. So I will just copy and paste this part. As you can see, we are using scanner. There is an error. What is this error? This is about the import. We need to import this scanner. Now I still have one error, which is about file. So file is for the input and output. So I can call the file. Okay, now file has been here, but as we know previously, there can be file not found. So there should be an error message if we cannot find this file. So the Eclipse give you two alternative solutions: add throw declaration or surround with brackets. Let me just use with the throw declaration. So in the throw declaration, we give this exception, and then I want to get the file test1.txt. In the previous one, we use print stream. We use print stream. It means I want to save any data into the file. But if I want to read or if I want to retrieve the data, if I want to retrieve the file, I need to use scanner. So every time we use the scanner, so last time we always use the system.in. But now we are not using the system, we are using the file. So we just access the file test1.txt and then, okay, we have the condition as next line. So if we read the text, test1.text, we have 3 lines. So whenever we still have the next line, if it is true, let's see, in integer number equals to the input dot next int. Oh, okay. Because I know this is integer, then I will just put it into the integer variable. And then I would like to input. So this is the same with if you input from keyboard. You press 1, then 1 will be allocated into the variable number. If you press 5, then number 5 will be included into the variable number. And you can read it into the console. Now I do not want to use the input from user, but I'm using the input from this part. So this will be the same input.next int, but the difference is the input is now is from the file. If you run this, then I will get 1, 2, and 3. So this is the data from the file test1.txt. In this case, I'm just giving one new variable integer, which is a local variable. And every time I know there is a line, on that one, then let's just print it. Okay. The method has next line. It attempts to see whether the text file has next line. And it returns true if there is still next line, otherwise false. Note that it valid for string input in one line. For every input, like separated by space, it should have one another method in accordance to the data type. So it means that the input or the file contains only one line of string. So there will be not so many space, because there can be like integer, it can be double in your text file. And the exception file, not found exception, it is for accepting any errors when the file is not found. We can use other way, for example, the try and catch. Okay, because of the time, I will stop here. We will continue on the next class, which is on Tuesday.